Rajdeep, good morning. Now, how big do you think and how significant do you think this development could be? Now, this is of course a buzz right now. This is speculation. But is this a reminder perhaps of what Eknath Shinde was to the Shiv Sena that Ajit Pawar could be to the NCP, Rajdeep?
Pooja, good morning. Yes, that's a very good analogy that you've just drawn there. Eknath Shinde with breaking the Shiv Sena, will Ajit Pawar do the same with the NCP? Look, this is speculation for now, but this is, I can say, informed speculation. Early this morning, I spoke to a senior NCP leader who's also a prominent MLA, and he did admit that Ajit Pawar is seeking the consent of several MLAs to his move to switch to the BJP, and many of them have come on board. Significantly, he said that Sharad Pawar is clearly not agreeing to this move, but he said Ajit Pawar appears determined to go ahead with it. He says that this comes at a time when Ajit Pawar is facing the heat of the Enforcement Directorate, that there is a particular charge sheet in which significantly his name and that of his wife has not been included, and that is seen in a way as a carrot that has been offered. The stick would follow if Ajit Pawar does not join. I asked him, when did this process begin? He said it began a few weeks ago, and he expects some decision to be taken shortly. It's only now a question, according to this senior NCP MLA, of timing. Ajit Pawar needs to time it rightly, Pooja, because you will recall last time he had egg on his face
2019.
when he chose to join hands with the Devendra Fadnavis government, and that government fell within a few days. So Ajit Pawar wants to be sure of his numbers this time. He wants to make sure that all these 40 out of the 53 NCP MLAs will not ditch him at the last moment. And should they give him that assurance, it seems from what we gather that the deal is almost done.
So, of course, it will be about the numbers as well. He needs that support if he at all wants to jump ship, and that could be a big decision. Rajdeep, what happens to Uddhav Thackeray? He is depending solely on NCP and a part on Congress as well for their, even if not in the government, a grand alliance to continue. If NCP is going to have that shift, and, you know, there is a conspiracy theory if Sharad Pawar is indirectly or not backing this, where do you think this leaves Uddhav Thackeray?
No, more than Uddhav Thackeray, Pooja, I think where does this leave this grand alliance that was to be built up against the BJP? Because remember, Maharashtra is one of the two major states, Bihar being the other, where there is a sense that because of the shifting alliances, the BJP is on the back foot. If Sharad Pawar, Uddhav Thackeray and the Congress were on one platform, then they would pose a significant challenge in a state that has 48 Lok Sabha seats, the second highest after UP. What the BJP has realized is just having Eknath Shinde and breaking the Sena might have given it a government, but it is not seen as being popularly acceptable. They need to widen their coalition. And therefore, this entire plan is being worked out to break this MVA alliance further, to reduce it, shrink its base further, so that the BJP, Shinde Sena, and let's call it the Ajit Pawar NCP are a formidable challenger to what the other side can throw up. Where does that leave Uddhav Thackeray? Look, Uddhav Thackeray has already made it clear that he has pitched his tent in a way with Sharad Pawar and with the Congress. But I think all of this also is going to develop in the months ahead, because there are crucial Bombay municipal elections. The question arises, what happens to Eknath Shinde? You see, as of now, Eknath Shinde has been the face of this government. What we are told is initially Ajit Pawar will join this government as a minister, and only after the Mumbai municipal elections, depending on the results, Ajit Pawar could finally get his big dream of becoming chief minister. You see, that's the other carrot. One carrot is Enforcement Directorate cases are dropped for now. A future carrot being offered is that you could even become chief minister one day, something that will not happen if you remain part of the MVA alliance. So there is a lot of pulls and pressures. Sharad Pawar, for now we are told, is against Ajit Pawar's move. But as we've seen, Sharad Pawar has also distanced himself on issues like the Adani affair with the rest of the opposition. So all the main characters are keeping all their options open, it would appear, in Maharashtra at the moment, Pooja.
On a side note also, Rajdeep, with the decades of political experience that you also have of covering these parties, what do we make of these permutations and combinations? There are strong, of course, ideological opposition at one point, and then suddenly we hear of a buzz of an NCP drifting away from the Grand Alliance and jumping ship probably to the BJP.
You know, Pooja, when I joined journalism in 1980s, I was told by a senior journalist, never cover Maharashtra politics because it is boring and it is extremely stable and nothing happens. It is a Congress-ruled state. 33 years later or 35 years later, what I can say is that, you know, it has become one of the most unstable states in the country, very similar to what we are seeing in Karnataka, where individuals can shift sides almost seamlessly without any ideological compunction. We are seeing this happening constantly now in Maharashtra and in Karnataka, two states whose politics has become very similar. And there is a major role that money power is playing. These are two states where Mumbai and Bengaluru are the Soneri Nagri in a way, the golden goose. Both states, therefore, are finding themselves in a situation where their politics is constantly being destabilized, alliances are shifting. So, you know, I'm not surprised by what is happening. And because Maharashtra is such an important state ahead of next year's Lok Sabha elections, I will not be surprised with all the twists and turns that are likely to take place there over the next few months.
Could this heighten the stature of Ajit Pawar if he manages to pull out with, let's say, at least 35 of the 50 MLAs and manages to join the government? Of course, we'll get a senior ministry as well. Likely, we are of course speculating for now, a deputy CM or a senior position within the cabinet. But what does this make of Ajit Pawar? Could this see a re-emergence of a new Neta from the NCP?
Pooja, Ajit Pawar certainly has been a deputy chief minister in the past. He certainly does control the organization of the NCP to a great extent. He has, in that sense, borrowed a leaf out of his uncle's playbook. He is on first name basis with all local panchayat leaders within the NCP. So he does have a command over the NCP's organization. Whether he can make the great leap and his great ambition from being just seen as his uncle's nephew to actually carving an independent base for himself, if he's able to break these 35, 40 MLAs, of course, you know, he can well claim that I have come out of my uncle's shadow. And I think that's also one of the factors that's driving him. His fear is that as long as Sharad Pawar is there, his options are limited. The moment he leaves the NCP and forms his own party, his own alliance, he can perhaps have more options of his own. Now, whether to use the words of a BJP leader, and I'm quoting here in Marathi, he said, "Aswastha ahet, but himmat nahi," which means that he is, you know, he's feeling uneasy, but does he have the courage to make the leap? Because over the years, Ajit Pawar has often always been seen as someone who's worked within the shadow and been dependent on Sharad Pawar. Now, can he make the move out of his uncle's shadow is, I think, the critical question. Does that make him a true leader? We don't know, because I think many fear that he too, like Eknath Shinde, will be seen as an opportunist breaking with the party that, you know, gave him everything.
And so specifically with the agencies hovering around, he'll need the numbers as well. Rajdeep Sardesai, I really appreciate you joining us and giving us your perspective.